Spiritual Living, where we share universal good through love. And we're going to have John do an opening. Well, no, we could do the
Candle.
candle first. Michael will light the candle. Explain what the candle is about.
Yeah, so I light a candle here. Again, one wax representing the one, and I go ahead and I light the first candle, which represents our first wick, which represents again the light that we shine individually because of our own innate divinity. And the second one I light is that of the community candle, of which again shines a much greater light when we are together. So
All right. Well, thank you. All right, John, if you want to go ahead and do an opening song.
All right. Here we are together.
Hey, John, you need your original sound on.
Yeah, you're right. Hold it. I got to stop the share to turn it on. Yeah, there we go. Good point. All right, now here we are together. Here we are for being together, for good, for better, forever. Here we are together, for being, for good, for better. Here we are for healing together, for good, for better, forever. Here we are together, for healing, for good, for better. Here we are for wisdom together, for good, for better, forever. Here we are together, for wisdom, for good, for better. Here we are for love together, for good, for better, forever. Here we are together, for love, for good, for better. Here we are.
Right. Thank you so much. And hi, Tim. Glad you're here. And hi. And is Devin Wayne here as well?
Yes,
I
sir.
think, oh,
Oh, hello, Devin Wing. All right. They're never on camera, but they're there with John, so that's great.
if somebody could afford a wraparound camera that like somehow snapshots.
See everybody, yeah. You could. I understand that. But anyway, so this is our the end of this is our typical end of year ceremony. And we call it the burning bowl burning ceremony. But it's a way of letting go of 2024 and getting ready for 2025. So Mike will be leading us in that, but I am going to start off with our 365 Science of Mind 365 reading. And it says that the title is, I shall see God reflected in every form, back of every countenance, moving in every act. And then there are a couple quotes. The quote is, the Spirit of God hath made me, and the breath of the Almighty hath given me life. That's from Job 33:4. And then the other quote is, we created man, and we know what his soul whispereth to him, and we are closer to him than his neck vein. And that was from the Quran. So it goes on, after long meditation and much deep reflection, having passed through the confusion of human experience, Job finally arrived at the conclusion that the Spirit of God was within him and that the breath of God was his life. We all have traveled this same pathway and experienced the journey of the soul to the highest heights above. And also, there has been a deep inquiry in our minds. What is it all about? Does life make sense? What is the meaning of birth, human experience, and the final transition from this plane, which we call death? Somewhere along the line, we too can exclaim with Job, the Spirit of God hath made me, and the breath of the Almighty hath given me life. With the Quran, we must realize that the divine is closer to us than our physical being. Nothing can ever be nearer to us than that which is the very essence of our own being. Our external search for reality culminates in the greatest of all possible discovery. Reality is at the center of our own being. Life is from without in, within out, I should say. Life is from within out. We must no longer judge according to appearance, but rather than base our judgments on the assumptions that the God mind dwells within us, proclaims or reflects itself through us into every act. Thus, the search after reality culminates in the realization of the ever-present good. The search at this point should cease, and we should at once enter into our divine inheritance, no longer as searchers after, but now as users of the highest gift of heaven. I feel that my search is over. I feel that I have discovered that great reality, and today I speak this reality into every experience I have. I shall see God reflected in every form, back of every countenance, moving in every act. That was from 365 Science of Five.
All right, John, why don't I open with a brief treatment, and then I'll go into because it's going to be longer, I'll go into my talk, and then we'll have the meditation music at the end. Does that sound like a plan?
I guess so. Sure.
Okay. All right. Real good. So let's just without the music. You want to play a couple of notes? That's fine. But let's just go within just for a moment. just to consciously connect with that one life that just flows through all of us. And that one life is the God life, the one life, which is again everywhere present. It's everywhere powerful, everywhere all knowing, everywhere active. And we know that this God, as we are together right here, right now, that we just celebrate 2024. And we allow ourselves to release that from 2024, in which we have found that was undesirable or tough to go through. And we embrace again the full essence of 2025 coming up by doing this time of letting go. So we allow ourselves right here, right now, to let go of past pain, past hurt, to receive again that peace that passes all understanding, which is within us, as us, and through us. And I just give great thanks for each and every person here, for we're here today by divine appointment. There is no mistakes. There's only God, and God being active in and through and as each and every person here. So I just give great thanks for all of this. And I now release this word into that creative law, which only knows to say one thing, and that is yes, 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 yes. And so it is. All right. Thank you, John. And as I bring up my talk here, okay. Well, hello there. Greetings for those of you here. Some people here have told us that this is the one service that they attend every single year, and or that they like this service, this whole idea of letting go, which is one of the more ritualistic things that we do in New Thought Christianity. Ritual in and of itself is extremely powerful. It's extremely life transforming if we allow it. So again, letting go or releasing is one of the spiritual principles that all the great masters and teachers, sages and saints have all told us that we must do to deepen our connection with the all that is. Again, whether you call it God, universal spirit, the universe, or as my one teacher called it, she says, in explaining God to an atheist, she says, I don't care whether you call it Jesus or Snoopy. It's still the same thing. Again, that's not to deny divinity to anyone, but again, it's just to know that, again, the labeling it sometimes can constrict it. So again, the universe, God, whatever that you want to call this great spirit. So in a few moments, I'm going to lead you in a meditation here, and which will involve you writing down on a piece of paper what you want to let go of. Now, since we do not have flash paper, or if you have flash paper, you can use it, but just write it down on a sheet of paper. And then I'm going to lead you in symbolically in tearing it up. And I will here go ahead and to light a piece of flash paper and lead you through a meditation so that we can let go. And I'll burn the flash paper for all of us here. So many New Thought churches, especially Unity, have this burning bowl or bowl burning or whatever that you want to call it at the end of the year to clear out and let go of all the events of the past year, especially the ones that have produced results not to our liking. I'm reminded also that there's also other ways of doing this as far as letting go. If you want to do this on a more consistent basis and don't want to deal with flame, you can go ahead and you can buy dissolving paper online and then just write it on, write whatever that you want to let go of on that piece of paper and then put it in water, and then it dissolves and goes away. But so this annual ceremony allows us here to let go and forgive all the characters, the persons, places, things, events, all the out there stuff that's still living within us. And again, to hopefully to extract the powerful lessons that they have, that the outer appearances have taught us this year. So again, as we can let go of the emotional attachment to the past and embrace the lesson that it contains rather than carry it, then we can move on to deliberately create a 2025 that is to, again, to our liking. And again, for many, that this ball burning is a wonderful ending to the year past and a great start for a year to come. All right, 2024 has been an interesting year, hasn't it? I remember the Chinese curse that says, may you live an interesting life. So 2024 has been interesting for yours truly also. Again, hasn't it been interesting for you? However, again, it's also been a year of tremendous personal growth and expansion. In the past years, there's been some disappointments and so-called setbacks. However, in our personal lives, we all can have the choice here to either let the events or the drama either expand us or contract us. Again, whether it be professionally or personally, either the event can either knock us down permanently or expand us to a greater possibility of expansion and growth. The decision to be resilient, and that is the whole idea of being able to bounce back, lies within who? It lies within all of us here. Using the power of will, which again is located in from the unity tradition right in the middle of the forehead, and also many spiritual traditions. The will is, again, it's the act of choosing. It's not willpower. Will is something that we use to choose. So are the events of our lives either blessings or curses? Are they either blessings or curses? Can you look back and with some perspective and saying, yeah, it was really hell to go through, but I'm really glad in the long run it did? Any relationships that you were really broken up over, but you go ahead and go, well, I'm really glad I'm out of that. Again, as we allow ourselves again to expand here, and to learn lessons. That's the reason why we've taken on bodies, again, is to be able to learn those lessons. So why do we let go of past hurt and troubles? Well, I'm going to let Ernest Holmes explain. This is from the Science of Mind textbook, page 502. It says, it is scientifically to consciously let go of all of our troubles. It is most unwise to hold them. Some will say that it is right that we should suffer for past errors. It is right that we should suffer. We have already done so and will continue to do so unless we pay the last farthing. But again, this is Ernest Holmes, again, taking out his highlighter. Anything that Ernest Holmes puts in either bold or italics in the Science of Mind textbook, that's Ernest Holmes taking out his yellow highlighter and saying, pay attention to this. So pay attention to this next sentence. It says, but the last farthing is paid when we let go and trust in the law of good. I'm going to say that one more time. But the last farthing is paid when we let go and trust in the law of good. Ernest Holmes goes on, it is impossible for a sane person to believe that God delights in condemning or damning anyone. God is natural goodness and eternal loving kindness and holds nothing against you or I. Nothing. Ernest Holmes goes on, he says, we suffer so long as we make mistakes. We are healed when we come to the Spirit for that cleansing which takes away the mistakes of the world, converting them into great lessons, and even pointing the way to truth and beauty, to life, to health, to success, to happiness. It is then scientific, Ernest Holmes said, for one to consciously let go of his or her troubles and errors, feeling that they no longer affect them. They have learned the lesson that the false ideas do not pay, and is willing and glad to turn from all that hurts to a greater light. And the Spirit, because of its nature of wholeness, is ever ready to take them into its embrace and make them whole again. And that's a good visualization. If you feel any type of hurt or condemning spirit or shame or whatever is during our ceremony today, is to, again, just to let the light transmute it, let the light transform it. Again, it's our holding on to that. The universe holds nothing against us. Do we get that? I was reading today from a progressive theologian. He was saying that the idea of original sin is bad theology. It never was there. That was put upon us by Augustine and others, the early church fathers. That was not taught by Jesus or the other great masters and teachers. So we can use here consciously spiritual mind treatment and affirmations to order our subconscious or our subjective atmosphere in the one, to erase the eternal patterns that is manifesting in the outer negative experience. And sometimes, again, that it takes several times to do this. My question is, are you willing to do it until it happens? If we do have a strong denial, what we have to do is we have to have a strong intention of what we want in our lives to follow. Okay, so it's not just letting go. What that does is the letting go kind of is like a good fertilizer. It's the taking up of the weeds. So now what we're going to do is now we're going to plant new seed into there. Because again, if anything, that nature abhors a vacuum. So if we go ahead and we start planting new seed deliberately, and I was reading yesterday as I was finishing up the Science of Mind study course, which I have read now. This is my second year, going on to my third year, taking the weekly lessons and reading them. What Holmes said was this. He says, the point of spiritual power is when we consciously and deliberately take control and allow ourselves as spirit to start expressing in and through and as us. But it takes conscious effort to do that. It's not just me speaking today. Now this may plant the seed, and our ceremony may again give you the opportunity, but it's the whole idea of taking time daily in the new year to start creating the life that you want. And that's the whole idea here. So the question here is this: are we ready and willing to release and let go? Are you really ready to release and let go? Are you ready to release the past, whether it was good or not so good, so that we can create a better good in our lives? I often relate that letting go to the not so good has happened to the past, but am I willing to release the internal thoughts that have caused my external drama. This is not about blame here or shame, which a lot of individuals will start saying, well, you're blaming the individual for the dis-ease or the events of their lives. No. What I'm talking about is I'm talking about being free, about erasing the thought form, the internal beliefs, the feelings that have caused, more likely, again, what has happened on the outside. Again, this is not about blame. This is about empowerment here. Remember that holding on to resentment only hurts the one holding on to it. Again, the flaming hot coal. Well, they have to forgive. They have to ask for forgiveness. Well, they probably won't. But are you willing to do your part here and letting go of that hot coal, just saying, I let it go. So one of my outcomes here for 2025 for this community here is for us to use the great teachings of the science of mind in a greater and grander way. For us to, again, not only to heal our lives, but again, to take that healing out into the world. So when shift happens, shift, S-H-I-F-T. John, I am not cussing. When shift happens, do you get into reaction mode? Or do you take a deep breath and as you exhale, there's the first thought that comes to mind, I need to take this to prayer. That's the difference between reaction and response. Reaction is, again, getting into the emotion. Response is, again, is taking that holy step back and going, maybe that's not a very wise thing to do. Maybe what I can do instead is this. And I heard this past week in all of my watching and listening online is that people were asking, well, how do you develop that? How do you develop that observer self? And it's done through meditation. When you're able to observe yourself, when something that just says, I don't know if that's the best here in the moment. So as we reflect upon the past year, our thinking is not only on what we want to improve, but also the many blessings of the past year. The many blessings of the past year. I count all of you as among my blessings. I'm closer to you than my own family. Do you know that? You guys are my family. Meeting here with you weekly, you are my family. You are my ohana, as the Hawaiians would say. So even if it was a tough year, there is always good if we look for it. So again, my favorite quote, which you've heard before, but I like repeating it, is attributed to the Buddha, who says, let us rise up and be thankful, for if we didn't learn a lot today, at least we learned a little. And if we didn't learn a little, at least we didn't get sick. And if we got sick, at least we didn't die. So let's all be thankful. So letting go is a good thing. However, as we all know, again, that nature abhors a vacuum. So what happens to a field when you just plow it over and then not plant something intentionally in it? It goes back to weeds with the seeds already in the ground, doesn't it? So after letting go of what we don't want, we write a letter to the universe or God, asking for, the original language is claim or demand, what we want in the new year. So you all should have a couple of pieces of paper. The first piece is something that you are going to write down all the things as I lead you through a meditation here. Write down all the things that you want to let go of. And what we are going to do is we are symbolically going to tear it up together. We're just going to rip it up. We're going to tear it up. We're going to let it go. And if you want to, again, you can take the scraps of paper then and go ahead and take them outside and safely go ahead and light them if you want. But just the whole idea of us doing it together as a community, just to see, because our energy together really helps in this process of letting go as we do it with intention. The other thing too is to take the letter that you write to God, and I'll show you another form of how to do that here in just a moment, is to take that and to put it into an envelope and to put on it, do not open until June 1st, 2025. And see what is manifested. Sometimes the whole sheet is manifested just by you doing one deliberate act of creation. So again, the focus is on what we let go so that we can focus on what we want instead. So letting go and letting the universe is an important part of the creative process. And it's a step that a lot of individuals, they miss in this whole great idea of the law of attraction. And if you don't think that our teaching is popular, again, that, a lot of the millennials are, again, they talk about the law of attraction. They talk about manifestation. Where did that come from? And that there's much more than that. Again, when The Secret came out, people were saying, well, the car didn't show up. Well, sometimes it did, but sometimes you have to go into the dealership and go drive one. You have to put it out there before you can receive. So after we state our intent or request, we have to let go and let God. How it's to happen is none of our business. It just is happened. We're using, again, the great physics of possibility, or the quantum field, or the law, whatever that you want to call it. So does a farmer, after planting the seed, wonder how it's going to grow? Well, of course not. It just knows that it will. It trusts that the natural law will take place and the plant will grow. So another way that the master teacher taught us to believe is that we have already received our request. Now, this is another way of writing your letter to God, which again is it's called scripting. And you can start your letter off by saying dear universe, or whoever, is thank you that this has happened. And then the feelings that you felt when it happened. I'll say it again. So what you do is you put at the top of the page what you can thank whoever that you want. I usually thank the universe or God, but to go ahead and to give great thanks, and then say thank you that, and then list out all of your desires as if you've already received them. That's what the great teacher said. And if you need a little more help on that, please get in contact with me. Again, we go back to gratitude, great attitude. We can thank the universe that we already have it by saying daily, thank you for my wealth, my good health, my friends, or whatever the request is. If there's an intuitive voice or thought that has you go to a certain place or do a certain action, go do it. Go do it. It's urging you. It's saying, go do that. Okay, again, as long as it doesn't hurt yourself or others, it's a good action. So as we embody our desires as our own, they are ours in reality. And again, we do so through that light touch of letting go and letting God. A wonderful book, if you've never read it, is Denise Coates' book it's called Feel It Real. She says, know what you want and then start feeling the feelings of your desire. Start vibrating at that frequency. start vibrating at that frequency. And as you feel the feelings and let go of the actual desire, what happens? So, if you want your life to move ahead in 2025, the one thing that and I know that I'm probably preaching to the choir here, but keep coming back and seeing us on a regular basis weekly. 1 hour out of 168 is that this hour is an hour of power for you. It's an hour of change, an hour of growth, because it reminds you that, again, who you are. And that is, you are divinity as you. And that the other 167 hours of the week, sometimes that the divinity is not said, especially in the news and other places. So we are here to remind you of your divinity, and we're here to support and love you through not only our weekly gathering, but also the classes and the other things that we're going to start offering here. I've seen this happen. Literal change happens when people just come to our service. Literal changes happen. Seeds are planted. Things start becoming better in people's lives just by attending here. But what I'm suggesting here is not just attending, but also putting to practice what we are teaching here, which is the great teachings of the sages and the masters. This is the great spiritual laws that, again, that, they're just there. As we align ourselves with that divine nature that we are, that creative nature, what happens is that our lives can not only become better, if they're great now, they can even become good. Good and more good is now ours. So we're going to go inside for a time of meditation and reflection. So before we do so, again, make sure that you have your paper out. And what I want you to do here, again, what I'm going to do is I have all of your names written on a piece of paper. That this is I'm going for the collective, I'm going to burn this. But what I'd like you to do personally is to go ahead and to put the things that you want to let go of on the piece of paper. And then what we'll do then is we will collectively rip it up together. So as John plays quietly in the background, let's turn within. Let's go within. And again, we start with a big, deep breath. Inhale. And exhale. Release, relax, and just let go. Let the chair support you. Know that it is a divine idea of support. And know that you are supported by the whole universe. As you do this annual ritual that we do with intent, with purpose, as we take a deep breath in, inhale, and exhale, release, relax, and just let go. Center into your heart. And again, one more time, inhale. And exhale. What I'd like you to do now is to go within to that place within you that is peaceful, quiet, and still. Go into that place within you. Yes. That place of pure light, that place of pure centeredness. That's within you. And I'm going to ask a few questions. And as I do so, What I'd like you to do is with soft eyes, just kind of open them up and just softly, very soft gaze, and then just write down on the piece of paper in 1 or 2 words the answers to this so that we can really let it go. So the first question is, what do I need to release from 2024 so that I can be all that I can be in 2025? So what do I need to release from 2024 to be all that I can be in 2025? Again, with soft eyes, just open them up and to go ahead and to put your answer in 1 or 2 words on your piece of paper. All right. Do I have a consistent mental pattern of depression, anxiety, fear, or anger that I would like to release? So do you have a pattern of depression, of anxiety, fear, or anger that you would like to release? Just put it down on the paper. Are there any addictions that I'm having trouble stopping because they're harming me and others? Do I have any addictions? Not just the major ones that we think, but also the minor ones. Are there any addictions that I'm having trouble stopping because they harm me and others? Again, just put it down on the paper. You don't need to know how to end it. Just put it down on the paper and just be willing to release it and let it go. So are there any people, places, or conditions that I would like to let go of and release from this past year? Am I holding anger towards anyone or anything? Again, you don't have to know how to get rid of it. Just put it on the paper and be willing to release it. Are there any people, places, or conditions I need to let go of and release from the past year? Are there any consistent patterns or beliefs that need to be let go of, like a belief in lack or poverty? How about saying you constantly find yourself that I don't have enough money? Again, the universe responds to that. So be willing to, if you want more money in your life, be willing to release that. How about a pattern of ill health? Are there mental patterns of depression or victimhood that you can let go of? Let go of them. Just put it down on the paper. So who would you like to forgive but can't on some level? would you like to forgive, but you just can't on some level? You're still pissed at them. Again, just listen to that anger, listen to the anger, and just be willing now just to put their name on the paper, to physically to let it go. Just put it on the paper. You are doing really well. So what I'd like you to do is to ask your inner light if there's anything else that needs to be let go of. How about forgiving yourself? You have resentment towards yourself. How about letting that go? Okay, so what I'd like you to do now is to take your paper, kind of fold it like I'm doing, and I folded it into quarters here. And what I'd like us all to do here is to place into that paper, before we tear it up, place into that paper any negative emotion that you would like to get rid of. Is there any anger or sadness or grief that you would like to release and let go of? Just put it in the paper. Just put it in the paper. Energetically put it into the paper. Put that anger, put that fear, that resentment, just put it into the paper. It's big enough to handle it. Put it in the paper. Put it in the paper. Just let it go. Put it in the paper. All right. You're doing very well. So what I'd like you to do now, take your piece of paper. Take your piece of paper. You ready? And tear it up. Rip it up. Rip it up. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. You can burn it later, but I am going to let go of what I have here in my hand. I'm going to put it to the flame that I have here. And now I'm going to go ahead and for our group, what I'm going to do and setting the intention of a wonderful year for our group, I'm going to release that and let that go. Take a deep breath in, inhale, exhale. Doesn't that feel much better? Inhale and exhale. All right. What I'd like you to do now, again with John playing in the background, doing really good. What I'd like you to do now is to write out your letter to the universe as if you've already received it. You can start out by saying thank you that, or give thanks to, says dear universe, and then thank you that, and then list out what you want as if you've already received it, and put down a couple of the feelings that you would have as you have it. All right, so take some time and just do that now. right, for time here, if you'd like some time to complete your letter, you can do so later. And then just make sure that you do it now and put it into the envelope and date the letter then for June of 2025. All right. Let's pray together. So thank you, blessed Spirit, as me, for all the healing that's taken place during this time. I now allow your voice to guide and to protect me in this upcoming year. I now allow myself to be prospered and blessed in this new year. I allow myself to be healthy and whole. I allow myself now to be loved and loving. I now allow that peace that passes all understanding, no matter what is happening on the outside, to be in my heart and in my life always. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Spirit as me. So it is, and so I let it be. Amen.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, John. Thank you, everybody. All right. That's always very powerful, very wonderful. So it is that time in our service where we would normally give options to talk, but we don't have time for that. So let's just give the opportunity to give. There are several ways you can do that. You can go to either Zelle or you can go to PayPal, and you would go to sscofakron@gmail.com. That's sscofakron@gmail.com. Or you can send a check with the word summit on it to 1199 Lexington Avenue, Akron, Ohio, 44310. So as we take symbolically our gifts in our hand and right top over left, and just know with me that all that we have, all that we receive, all that we give, it's blessed in very, very special manner. And that it goes to the work of Summit Spiritual Center, Summit Center for Spiritual Living, and that it goes back to the person 10 times or more that gives, but it also goes to help the universe, to help the world. So it is. Amen. Okay. Hey, John, how about some good, more good?
Good, more good is mine, and ever increasing good is mine. Unlimited, infinite good is mine. Wherever I go, I see good. Whatever I do, I feel oh so good. I'm worthy and entitled to good and more good. Good crowds itself upon us, wraps itself around us. We give ourselves permission to accept more good, express more good. Good, more good is ours, and ever increasing good is ours. Thank you, Spirit, and so it is.
All right. Thank you. Time for announcements.
And I'm going to yield my time
Okay.
to Dr. Carol Andrick, who has a special announcement.
Caroline, you're muted.
Speaking to the air.
There
Thank
you
you.
go.
Thank you so much, Reverend Michael, for that amazing introduction. We are in the process, Michael and I, of working on a new 4-week program called Living in Presence. Or I'm sorry, called Opening into Presence. We got to open and then we can live. Opening into Presence, it starts on January 8th. It's a 4-week course, and we're going to really take a look at our amazing body, because our body not only houses our spirit, which I have said many times, but it also gives us tools that we normally have that can help us shift into presence, shift into awareness, and lead a exciting life in spirit. You know, many people have the idea that when you become spiritual, you're holier than thou. You walk on water, and just all the, I did for many years. Um, and good news is I can walk on water, but I can only do it during the winter. So I know it's possible. But I want to invite you, if you're interested in learning more, contact either Michael or I, and we're glad to fill you in on fill you in on the details. It's going to be
And are you offering a? I heard through the grapevine that you're offering a discount on the class up until though the 31st.
Yes, the discount for those of you that were with us for the 4 weeks when we did the what was it called? Michael, what was it called? You know, I just move on to things and I let the past go. I'm so good at doing that.
Our 4 weeks of wonderful
Meditations.
meditation.
Yes, yes. And so this is kind of the next step. And it's going to be a time of learning, trying things out, experiencing them, having a week to feel, really embrace new simple techniques to keep us in the present moment, and then being able to share them.
And usually, though, usually this is $99, but if you call now,
for the people that were already in the meditations, we are going to offer to them for $80.
Yes. So if you're
go ahead.
Yeah, so if you're interested, just get a hold of me, and we will. I've already gotten one, so again, if you're interested, please get a hold, because I know Diane is wanting to wrap this up here. So sorry to cut you off, Carol Ann, but anything else here? All right.
I'd like to have an announcement. YesWise.com. I'm going to be putting up my holistic wellness, holistic natural health and wellness course, which is not going to be at any set time. I'm just going to put it up like a lesson each week, and you can just visit YesWise.com and find it and take it whenever, investigate it whenever you like.
When does that start?
I'm going to start with one this coming week, right after the first of the year. So by next week, there should be one up you can watch sometime, and then anytime, and then I'll keep adding to it as we go.
Okay. I'm going to assume that's all the announcements. So let's go into our moment of silence. And please, as we do this, just make sure that you can let go of a lot of what you already put in your stuff. Okay, Diana, do what you. Goodness. Hang on. All right. So that as we do this, please just bring into mind anybody who may need some healing, yourself or others or the world. And then we'll have a brief moment of silence. I'll ring us in and I'll ring us out. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God unfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is. and all is well. And song
All
for
right.
John.
Yeah, I was going to do another song, but I'm going to save that for next week since we're kind of running behind here. And
Thank you.
instead, we'll do this annual closing song for the new year called Old Lang Syne. Should old acquaintance be forgot and never brought to mind? Should old acquaintance be forgot and days of old lang syne? For old lang syne, my dear, for old lang syne, we'll take a cup of kindness yet for old lang syne. We chew a run of boot the praise and put the goings fine. We've wandered many a weary foot, sing old lang syne. Sing old lang syne, my dear, sing old lang syne. We've wandered many a weary foot, yet sing old lang syne. We too have sported with the bird frae morning sun till dawn, but seas between us bray her roar, sing old lang syne. Sing old lang syne, my dear, sing old lang syne. But seas between us bray her roar, sing old lang syne. Here's a hand, my trusty friend, and gives a hand the line. We'll take a cup of kindness yet for old lang syne. For old lang syne, my dear, for old lang syne. We'll take a cup of kindness yet for old lang syne.
All right. Thank you so much. That does end our service. But for next week, we start our annual January month where we go over the introduction to the science of mind. And we have, what we do is we take the different, there's 4 parts to it: the thing itself, the way it works, what it does, and how to use it. And we will be going over that. And it's a great way just to get into to remind yourself of the basics of just getting your life better for yourself. So that, and then I'm going to let us, Hannah, you can end us on Facebook. And then I need to take volunteers for